Hey everyone on YouTube, Visa Trade here. As the Nobody Vlog number 35. It's mm, Saturday. I think it's March 21st. Anyways, I don't know. I was just doing some random thinking and so it's mostly like about like why I really don't like society. You know, some could say I'm a misanthrope or that I hate society, but it wouldn't take much for me to come over to the other side where I actually like society again. But anyway, so it's kind of about that, and I don't know. I was just thinking, dude, if this is what I'm saying, like it wouldn't take much. Like I don't know why people don't just bomb drop money on people. I don't mean literally on people, but I do get that. There's something about giving money away that's just weird. Like, if you give money away, like, it's going to either ruin someone's life or get it so they want to sue you or, But it very seldom helps them out. And I guess, like, by giving somebody money, like, they don't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it is, but it's something to do with that, or whatever they buy, they're not going to appreciate it. So, I guess that's why, people don't give money away, But I know to some people, $30,000 isn't that a whole lot of money. That's just, it's an average Tuesday, But to me, that would, like, change my life, you know what I mean? So, anyway. Yeah, man, I've been doing some thinking about that, too. Is it even worth it at this point in my life? I'm over the hill, I'm over 40 now, and it's like, do I even want to spend the fucking $25,000 to get a pilot's license? It's just like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like a waste. If I only got, I think I'm gonna live to 73, but you never know. I could die 4 years from now and just blow $25,000 on a fucking pilot's license. It just doesn't, not good. I should have saved it, Because fuck it. I don't know. I'd rather, live life with 20 grand in my pocket, and die with it in my pocket, I don't know. But, yeah. So I know that some people want to spend every single dime before they go, but you never really know when you're going to go. So if you spend every single dime before you go, you're never going to have any money. So it's just the way it is. Yeah, so I was thinking that, bomb drop stuff. Like, cause I got like an open piece of land out here, and freaking, wilderness pretty much. I'm just saying, if I was in an airplane and, I had a spare 10 grand or something like that, I don't know. I'd think about it, I'd see the guy isn't improving over the course of 4 years, He's got no fucking money, Hell, down the road, but freaking, I got some neighbors, about 2 miles away that they recently came out here. I want to say, like, maybe last October or maybe before. Maybe they were living through the heat. I can't remember. It wasn't that hot last year, though. But, yeah, I know they've only been there for like a year. You know what I mean? And they've already got a freaking constructed mobile home set up. Like, that quick. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, damn, dude. First they started out with a little barn shed thing, And then I guess they went for it. I bet you they dug the whole septic and everything, dude. So, They got it all done, I'm sure. Just slap that sucker on there. Because that's what you're supposed to do if you buy a piece of property. Like, you're not supposed to be able to live out here like I am, just boondocking a freaking trailer, Which means you have no connections to, sewer, water, or, electricity. You have to make it on your own. But, I don't have the money for it, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, there's planes flying overhead all the time, And $30,000 ain't a whole lot of money to some people, so you know what I'm saying. But see, nobody would ever fucking do that. But I think that's what it would take for society to like redeem itself to some degree. Because I'm going back in the past and I'm thinking about today and all the reasons, just the little kind of reasons why it's like, dude, it's no wonder I hate society. I know it ain't right, I know, Jesus says, oh, you got to love your brother, and, we're all neighbors, and, treat your neighbor as yourself or something, but the fact is, you can only kick a man so far down before he just fucking gives up, dude. It's like, I don't want anything to do with it anymore, and there's damn good reasons, And I was thinking back at the time I was stuck in North Lake Tahoe. That's like the California Nevada border, and I popped my tire, or the sidewall gave out or something, and I couldn't figure out how to like install it. You know what I mean? All it was is just installing the spare tire. If I could have done that and pumped up the spare tire, I wouldn't have to spend. I broke. I was thinking all the money I wasted too, because I wasted. What happened was the tire broke, and then it ended up denting the like gas inlet hose to the point where it was like leaking. So that wasn't good. And then I was trying to smog it, and I ended up having to replace that stupid hose. And the guy was, this is another thing. It's like, I go to the mechanic, and he says, oh yeah, we could do that inlet hose. Apparently it's really expensive to replace a hose. We got to drop the whole tank and replace this hose, and this hose is really expensive. So that's like $325. But we figure while we're at it, we might as well, your injectors are really dirty up in that, I don't know, injector, whatever. It looks like a carburetor, honestly, but whatever. It's one of the old school injector ones, and it'd take manifold. I don't know what's up, but I swear, dude, it was like, I know he said he was going to do that, right? And I got it back from him, and he was like, so here's your, your hose for $650. I was like, well, weren't you supposed to, like, do something else, too? I'm just saying, dude, there is a good reason that I really hate society, dude. And so while I'm sitting there, in North Lake Tahoe, and my tire's friggin' blown out, instead of, like, somebody, coming up to the side of me or something and being like, hey, pull over, dude. I'll help you out or something like that. No, it was more like, pull over, you're going too fucking slow. And then they would just, I'd pull over and they'd speed right by me, It's like, nobody was fucking there to help me, dude. And, call it like insecurity with my parents or some damn thing. I don't know. I just watched some short on YouTube that said, my love language is like doing, helping the person out when they need help or something. But I don't know. It just, dude, it doesn't seem like I can depend on anybody. You know what I mean? It's like, and at the same time, I'm the person pulling over and being like, what do you need? You need gas? What do you need? You need friggin', radiator stop leak fluid. What do you need? To get you back on the road. But I'm telling you, dude, I don't know what it is about me, but I'd probably be sitting there for like, a good, I don't know, 2 or 3 days before somebody finally came along. I'd be like, hey, I noticed you here for a while. Do you need like something? And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know how to get my tire out and replace it, dude. It's like, I don't know what the fuck it is. Do I need to wear a fucking, a suit maybe? I don't know. Make my hair look nice and, my face look nice to, be treated like a fucking decent human being. I don't know what the deal is, but it's like, holy shit, dude. There's just over and over, I just see examples of this, and oh man, there's so many things that have happened. I mean, to list everything that happened would probably take a very, very long time. I don't know how long, but it makes me wonder. And I really don't want to think about it, because that's kind of my way of moving on, is just compartmentalizing is what I guess I do, where I call it like a bad thing in my head. And I go, I don't want to think about it, and I just don't think about it, and I end up forgetting about it, which is probably a good thing. Because, I don't know, I met this woman, and she could not stop talking about how bad her fucking marriage was, and I was like, all right. I don't know what you want me to do about that. It happened, 20 years ago, something like that. Just like, dude, it's like, I don't know, I compartmentalize it. It's in the past. I can't do anything about it now, so try to learn from it and move on, I'll tell you this, I mean, unless I absolutely have to, I'll never try to take a transmission out of a car on a fucking public street. Because somebody's going to come along and be like, that's an eyesore. And they won't even leave a ticket. If your car's on jacks, they'll just tow your shit. And if you left your tools in the car, then they just sort of take your tools and, you show up to the junkyard, they'll just be like, well, I don't know what tools you're talking about, What tools, But I was surprised, when my car got taken to the impound, like, for no good reason other than it was, parked on the side of the road in the wrong spot or something. I don't know what the deal was, but they didn't want to leave it there for whatever reason. And, after spending, the $625, at least they helped me get the car unlocked, so it was locked. So I don't know when it locked, but my tools were there. So, my tire was flat, but, it's a concept of it, I guess. But it just seems like, every time I need help, nobody's fucking there, dude, And it's like, I think like one time I can remember, I kept like trying to bump start my car in reverse, and someone in like Mercedes finally came along and was like, look, dude, you need like a help anything? And I was like, yeah, I could use a jump start, in hindsight, I probably should have just called the tow truck company. I do have the service on my thing now, but I wasn't thinking that way. I was just thinking it was easier to bump start the damn thing. But, I don't know, dude. There's just all these things that have happened to me in the past, and people are like, so why do you do that? Why do you live off grid like that? I'm like, so I can like work on something, you know what I mean? And like, if I get tired, like I just leave all my tools and everything out and I come back to it later, Like, I don't know, dude. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I guess you could do that if you had like a house with a fence and a lot of property. I'm like, then on the other hand, I'm like, yeah, there's still a good chance somebody will fucking see it and steal your fucking tool. It's just stupid, dude. We can't trust each other anymore, fucking as that far goes. But I don't know, dude. I'm just rambling. It's just, but there's just so many reasons, dude. I just don't want to list them because there's so many reasons where it's just like, dude, I you really can't blame me for hating society at this point, It's just all this shit I've been through, So, I don't know, it's it's different. It's just, I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's even possible at this point to forget. There's just a point where it goes on for beyond forgiveness, But enough, kind of kind gestures might bring me back, Where instead of asking me for gas, people are asking if I need gas or, whatever. I don't know. Planes dropping freaking, $100 bills on the ground or something. I don't know. But whatever. It's just a random thought, But, anyway, that's it for this one. I was just throwing out those concepts. But anyways, I hope everyone has a great day. And, stay safe, stay sane, and, see you next time.